Hey, this is Dr. Bean. Welcome to week 3. I'm going to give you an overview of what we're up to for week 3. As I did for the previous week, I won't be covering every core unit of learning, but I'll source that out for you. And maybe when it seems appropriate, I'll go over them briefly. I've started here with the home screen that is for me as a teacher. It might look a little bit different for you. You can find the calendar here. And this is probably the most important part right here because this is an embedded PowerPoint. But one thing I really like about it is it's clickable. Anything here that you want to go to can be clicked on. And we are on week 3, so it says click on week 3, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And when you do that, sure enough, you go to the week 3 summary page. Now I'm going to make it a little bigger here. Good, and I love this little button here. I'm going to make it cover the whole screen here. And this is my attempt to show you everything you need to for week 3 here in Chemistry 1100C. It should show a nice calendar of what you need to do. There it is, it shows Monday through Sunday, and I always follow the same general pattern. And so let's go over this in general, and then we'll start clicking our way around. So it's week 3. The topic here is bonding, chemical compounds, and their formulas. By Sunday night, you should have completed week 2, and now you're taking a deep breath and you're ready to go for week 3. I always recommend you spend the first couple of days just learning what we call the lessons. These are the things that have no point value, but it's a good idea to spend the time needed to learn them. And then after, say, on about Wednesday or so, and this is all up to you, you can begin the real assignments. Then there always are some lab assignments. This week there's 2. There's an assignment, sort of a problem-solving thing. That's one right there. And then there's a quiz. So I recommend today you work on the readings and watch the videos. You do the same thing on Tuesday. Don't forget at 7 p.m. we'll have our required live classroom session. This serves as a pre-recording for that. You should hear similar things for this one that you'll learn for the next one. And then on Wednesday, you can work on the first lab. On Wednesday evenings, I do an optional review session where we just go into solving the problems that are in the labs and that are in the assignment, and maybe even do the quiz review. On Thursday, you do the second lab, which is much longer. This is only a 10-point lab here. See the point values? The second one is 44 points. But I don't think either of them are going to have those kind of hang-ups that you might have had before where you have to, I don't know, do some weird online mixing of chemicals that may or not work. And then on Friday, I recommend you work on the assignment. And on Saturday, review for the quiz, then take the quiz. You should see a link for this if you check on it now. Right now, I recorded it this morning and it's being uploaded, so I don't have the link, but I will soon. Then you take the quiz, and if you do things using the schedule, yes, you have an entire day to kill. You can take your Sunday off. I wonder if some of you actually do that. A couple of things that are just on my mind, and one of them is that all of these links here should work. These links are pretty essential, and if you go back to the course home here, if we look at this list too, I did add links too. So this little paragraph here is kind of what you need to do. Complete the lesson, click on that link, watch the videos, click on that link, then click etc. And they're the same links that you will see here. Nope, not there. Where is it? Here, I guess. Yeah, there it is. These links are the same. Now, these links are, generally speaking, for the real assignments worth point values. These are links that I've created to make handing things in easier. For example, for the first lab, if you click on this link, you'll see that essentially all they need is a screenshot, right? And that's right there. This one appears to be a slightly older link. You can use this one and it's full credit. I do want to point out that if you actually page through this thing, you'll see I upgraded it a little bit just today. And see this, I've added a video that you can watch here for it because it's asking you for empirical formula. And I created a slide that shows how to do empirical formula that is all of 1.5 minutes long. So if you watch this 1.5 minute video, it might be enough for you to solve this for the problem that you will be given here. And I'm fully aware at this point that these populate differently for each student. So the problem that you're solving is probably not going to be the same as for other students. Let me go ahead and page through some of the other screenshots here. That's what you'll actually be handing in. Put your screenshot in there. Here it is for the second lab. Let me go ahead and talk about that for a little while because this one's big. This one I had to fit this over 3 pages. You start here, or go to Blackboard, that's probably better, and start where they say to start. And then work your way through this. You know, it's not bad. They have you watch a little video, learn something, then they ask you questions. When you get it right, you get the green correct screen. Place your screenshots here. I really hope you do this rather than giving me this downloadable file that I have to download myself and then upload and click through one at a time. Here I can just go boom and I see them all. Of course, for this one, it's 3 pages long. So that's page 1, that's page 2, and that's page 3. You might find these slide numbers to be handy. There's page 2 of 3. Somewhere there should be page 3 of 3. I don't see it here. I'll make sure that, oh, I see. I think I didn't change that to a 3 right there. That should be page 3 of 3 because this one calls for the 10 screenshots. You might find the slide numbers in this assignment to be handy to make sure you're on track. I went ahead and put them there. So that once you finish the second lab, you should have a pretty good idea of gravimetric analysis and a lot of the things required to learn the assignment. When you're ready, and it's scheduled not to take this till I think Friday, go ahead and complete this. This is verbatim, the same that is in the Blackboard assignment. I've just created it conveniently here, and once you download this, you'll find that it's clickable. So you can click on this and literally enter your answers here. And I'm trying to make us focus on the learning rather than on the administrivia, right? On some kind of techno issues. Just learn the material. Okay, so once you've done all that, you can work on the quiz, and this is a quiz review. Every one of these questions is designed to help you. I recently created a video for it that I'll be posting. You should see it linked by the time you are listening to this. But it took 20 minutes. These problems, these little things here, there's a lot of work that goes into answering these things. So I would not tackle this thing here until you've certainly watched all the videos. So why don't I go back to that? Actually, I think I'll go back just to the plan for the week because that's really what's probably the handiest. Let me work my way back. And every week it's kind of the same thing. You read all the material and do all the activities that are in here. And here's the time constraints here. These can really put you off. Look at this. Chemical bonding, activity time 3 hours. Yikes. If you are limited for your time, and I know that many of you are, think about how you want to attack these. One way that I think works pretty well is do the reading material for these. Not necessarily if there's an hour-long activity. That's up to you. I mean, if you want to be complete, absolutely do it. However, I have created videos for each one of these learning activities that is much briefer, and I find that it's a good way to learn, and maybe you do too. So if you click on videos here, it will take you to a playlist. And so this should play in order all of the videos that you really need in order to learn this unit. So if you click here, it will start playing them. You can watch and listen to them. It might even work if you're just driving your car and want to try to listen your way through them. I find that works pretty well. But this playlist, which is not too long, should cover all the core learning. Now, in years past, I've taught the core learning, but I found that it's easier for me to flip things a bit. It's up to you to watch these videos, learn the material, send me questions. I really do encourage you to email me whenever you get stuck on something, because this is an online course. I'm not walking around checking you for progress or branching your learning based on what you know and don't know. So keep in touch with me, ask me questions, consider attending the optional Wednesday session at 7 p.m. so that we can just solve problems. That's been very helpful, but my attendance has been very low. Just to be clear, the Monday live session is mandatory, and I might as well give you the passphrase for that now. That is right now. And the passphrase for this week is Avogadro's number. I better spell that for you. Avogadros, Avogadro's number. And it's that number right there, 6 times 10 to the 23. Once again, the passphrase for this week is Avogadro's number. The Wednesday sessions that are optional don't have any passphrase. People have been asking me for that, and I typically don't record them because I'm just working with people. I might be referring to them by name, and we're just solving problems. You really should attend those things. They're very helpful, and I go directly into the assigned problem, so we're not wasting anybody's time. Okay, that's a little bit about that sort of thing. Why don't I go back to the slides here. I'll go to week 3. Let's make sure we are good. As usual, here's how the points are divided up. You can use this to get your full credit. This is the list of all of the videos if you want to see them a la carte. In other words, the playlist goes right here, but here they are one at a time. Suppose you're like, I don't understand shape, this Vesper stuff. I just don't get that. You could just go directly to this and click on this one and watch that one. And that is a relatively long one. I created this one custom for this course because they only talk about certain aspects of shape. So I skipped the slide I usually use, which goes into more detail, so that you can learn that. One random comment I want to make, you can watch this resonance slide here, which is 5 minutes long. That also is custom for this course because they teach resonance and they don't teach resonance. You'll see listed in PowerPoint, in Blackboard I should say, that it's beyond the scope of this course, and yet there are questions on the quiz and on the assignment that ask you to show some resonance structures. You should probably make sure you familiarize yourself with resonance structures for the phosphate anion and the nitrate anion, since that's the two they seem to like the most. Okay, I also put some information here because rather than create a video, this is just pure memorization. So here's some common acids. What I would probably do, and I'm doing it right now, but I don't know if you can see it, is I just put my hand over one side and look at it and say sulfuric acid. Oh yeah, that's H2SO4. After I did a lap through each of these 10 or so, I'd do it the other way. I'd look at H2SO4, cover it up and say sulfuric, hydrochloric, hydrobromic, and if you've worked your way through this, well, you've memorized them and you're good to go. This is the first lab. I really do think you should watch this video before you solve it, and all I really need is just the screenshot right there. This is a relatively quick 10-point lab. You can even use this spot here and click through it. Now you may need to enter, that link might not work because you're not sort of logged in. If that's the case, go to Blackboard and enter things that way. Here's the big lab, lab number 2. Now, I went through this whole thing, and I gotta say, I kind of like it. I think that, if you watch the videos, you're learning as you go, and it's nice. It's a lot of work. It takes a fair amount of time. It's very solvable. If you get things wrong, you can just select a different answer until you get it right. So I'd like to see 5 beautiful screenshots here with those nice little green spots that say correct. For the second part, that's called Module 10. Those screenshots go there. For the third lab, excuse me. For the third lab, there's your 10 screenshots, and those go there. And you're good with that. Here's the assignment. Nothing too fancy. What you can do is put your answers. See, if you Look, see that? How I can enter these directly? You have access to PowerPoint, so you can do the same thing. Now, if you find it easier for these math problems to write it out, then that's fine. And I still do accept any form that you have. If you're doing it some other way and you like to hand it in that way, go ahead. It's easier for me to grade and it's easier for you to complete, I think, if you do this. And I would probably just solve these just like they are here without going into too much detail with like an equation editor. But if I said you got 3 moles of oxygen, I'd say that's a one-step mole to molecule problem. So you start with what you're given, 3.00 moles of oxygen, and anytime we have a mole of oxygen, we have 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles, in this case molecules of oxygen. Now I did ask for people to go ahead and use the superscript feature because it looks better, right? That looks like 1023. So I would probably take that 23 and highlight it. There it is, superscript it. And that's true for any mole of anything. It's that many particles. Oh, and then maybe I would take this thing. Oh, I could show off my little, if I go like this and just hit my little button there, it does it automatically. Ha! You probably don't have access to it, but I just subscripted those. And then that equals 3 times 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. Believe it or not, I think I can do that in my head. That would be 18 roughly times 10 to the 23rd, or 1.806, because 6.02 tripled is 18.06. 1.806 times 10 to the 24th. Always include your label and your units. That would be molecules. That's my unit. Or is it my label? Molecules of oxygen. Period. Make that a superscript. And that's a nice solution to that. If you wanted to get fancy, you could even take your moles of oxygen and strike it out, since a mole of oxygen divided by a mole of oxygen equals 1, and maybe some of you will solve it at this level of simplicity. Maybe you'll even use an equation editor and really impress me, but this is what we're looking for. Oh, and some people are doing this, which I really like. They're highlighting the answer so you can see it. Let's bold it too. Blammo. Okay, so that would be a nice, complete answer to that. And I'll leave that up for you. Moving on past the assignment, you need to, after you've completed the assignment, including this part, it's time to review for the quiz. Then you take the quiz, and the week's done. You're on to week 4. So to summarize, good luck with this weekly assignment. You should take advantage of the links that makes this very easy to do. I think before I go, I think I'll take a brief look at what you're looking at from Blackboard, right? So if we go to Blackboard, make sure we're in the summer course. Just so you know, we are in Module 3 right here, and this is the the classic way of doing this thing is you spend the first couple of days working on the lesson content, which is right here, and it's all listed here. I do like how if you just read your way through this, you learn a lot very quickly. You can watch these videos, but being Khan Academy videos, these might be 20 or more minutes each. Now, there's probably Rasmussen professors who say, of course, absolutely, watch every one of these videos. But I'm going to say watch what you need to watch in order to master this material. Perform all these. These have no point value, which is why you could consider them optional. But if you want to truly master this material, watch everything, do everything, and you're there. And see, you work your way through it, and let's pretend you have, and you've gone to here, right? And once you've done all that, at that point you have completed the lesson material, and you can go right into the first lab. You could skip my videos if you don't want to learn it that way. So you've got lots of resources. I hope you take good advantage of them. I think I'll sign off there. Email me with any questions you have, guys, and we'll see you tonight at 7 p.m.